If you've ever wondered why your path in life seems harder than others, why your heart feels heavier, or why your spirit seems more awake even when your world is falling apart, then this message is for you, because chances are you've been chosen. And here's the truth most won't say. Being chosen doesn't always feel like a blessing. In fact, at times, it feels like a burden. But buried deep within that burden is a sacred gift, a calling, a purpose, a divine design that no one else can fulfill but you. Today we'll talk about the cost of being chosen, the hidden pain, the unseen sacrifices, and the reward that comes after the fire. If you felt like giving up, don't. You're not alone, and your struggle isn't meaningless. You're not broken. You're being built. Let's begin this powerful journey together. The journey of the chosen, a hidden road. The truth is, many want the glory of being chosen, but few are ready to carry the weight of it. Because being chosen isn't a title, it's a life of transformation. A life that feels like breaking before it becomes building. A life where you are often hidden before you are ever revealed. And it begins long before you even understand what's happening to you. From an early age, you may have noticed it, the feeling of being different. Not better, not worse, just different. You might have looked around and seen others fitting in with ease while you felt like a visitor, even in places called home. You asked deeper questions. You noticed things others ignored. You carried emotions that others dismissed. And though you tried to hide it, something within you refused to be silenced. You see, the chosen don't choose themselves. They are set apart, often without their permission. It's not something you seek. It's something you slowly realize. And when you do, it comes with a flood of mixed feelings: awe, fear, doubt, wonder, and responsibility. And above all, the question, why me? That question becomes a constant companion. Why me? Why am I the one who has to carry so much weight? Why am I the one who loses the most, sacrifices the most, and suffers in silence? Why does it feel like the world is watching me break while I'm trying to build? And the answer is simple, yet hard to accept. Because there is something within you that is too valuable to leave unrefined. The refining fire of sacrifice. To be chosen is to be refined, not once, but continuously. Like gold in a furnace, you are placed in the heat of life's trials, not to be destroyed, but to be purified. The fire touches every part of your life. It reaches your relationships, your dreams, your identity. It separates you from people who once felt like family. It pulls you out of circles that used to comfort you. It strips you of things you thought you couldn't live without. At first, it feels like loss, a series of painful subtractions. Friends who stop calling, loved ones who no longer understand you, careers that fall apart, opportunities that disappear. It feels like rejection, not just by people, but by life itself. But it's not rejection. It's redirection. The fire doesn't come to destroy. It comes to strip away everything that isn't aligned with your purpose. And while that process is painful, it's also sacred. Because what's left after the fire, that raw, authentic, unshakable version of you, is who you were always meant to become. The world may see your pain and call it bad luck. But in the spirit, your pain is a portal. Every loss is shaping your character. Every delay is stretching your patience. Every tear is watering the soil of your future. And while it feels like everything is being taken from you, something far greater is being given to you. Clarity, strength, vision, and the quiet voice of God that only grows louder in the silence of solitude. The loneliness of the path. One of the most difficult parts of being chosen is walking alone, not physically perhaps, but spiritually and emotionally. Because even when surrounded by people, you may feel isolated, not out of arrogance, but out of difference. Your spirit begins to crave things others run from: truth, depth, silence, accountability, purpose. And because of that, conversations that used to excite you now bore you. Environments that once felt fun now feel empty. You're no longer satisfied with surface-level living. You long for the real, the deep, the divine. And this shift creates distance, not because you don't love others, but because your spirit no longer aligns with what you once tolerated. This loneliness isn't punishment, it's training. In solitude, you learn to hear your inner voice. You begin to differentiate between noise and guidance. You stop looking outward for validation and start listening inward for direction. And most importantly, you learn that your worth isn't based on who accepts you, but on who created you. You begin to discover that your journey isn't about pleasing crowds. It's about obeying a calling. And that calling often demands that you walk where others won't go, stand where others sit, and speak when silence is safer. That's the cost of being chosen, but it's also the blessing. The strength built in silence. There's a strength that grows in silence. The kind of strength that cannot be taught, only lived. The kind of strength that's forged in the unseen battles, in the private prayers, in the moments where giving up seems easier than going on. This strength doesn't make headlines. It doesn't come with applause, but it's the kind that lasts, the kind that carries others, the kind that changes atmospheres. The chosen often find themselves in seasons where everything is quiet. No open doors, no breakthroughs, no affirmations. Just stillness. But in that stillness, a transformation is taking place. The old identity is dying, the false confidence is melting, the ego is surrendering, and something sacred is rising. A new self that knows its source, its purpose, its God. This silent season is often the most misunderstood, but it is holy ground. It's where your spirit matures. It's where you become the person your calling requires you to be. Because when the time comes to step into your purpose fully, you will not lead with noise. You will lead with wisdom. You will not move from insecurity. You will move from clarity. You will not act from desperation. You will act from alignment. The reward of faithfulness. So after all this pain, this pruning, this sacrifice, is there a reward? Absolutely. But it may not look like what the world promises. The reward of the chosen is not always riches or recognition. It's something deeper, something eternal. It's the peace that surpasses understanding, the kind that remains even in chaos. It's the authority to speak truth and see chains break, the kind that sets captives free. It's the ability to walk into dark places and bring light, not because you're perfect, but because you've walked through darkness yourself and survived. The reward is becoming who you were created to be, fully, unapologetically, powerfully. The chosen aren't rewarded with comfort. They're rewarded with impact. They get to change lives, shift generations, and become living testimonies of transformation. They may not be known by the world, but they are known by heaven. And when the season of reward comes, after the years of faithfulness, after the nights of prayer, after the battles fought in silence, there is a joy that floods the soul, a joy that says, it was worth it. When you feel like quitting, it's important to admit that there will be moments when quitting feels easier than continuing, moments when the weight feels too heavy, when the silence feels too long, when the path feels too hard. But here's what you need to know. Every chosen one has felt this way. Moses doubted himself. Elijah wanted to die. Jesus wept in the garden, and yet they endured. Not because they were strong, but because they were surrendered. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Because the fire doesn't last forever. The wilderness is not your destination. It's a preparation. And when the reward comes, and it won't just bless you. It will bless everyone connected to you, your family, your children, your community, your legacy. The cost is high, but the reward is higher. If you are watching this and it feels like your story, know that you are not alone. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The road of the chosen is narrow, but it is also filled with divine encounters, supernatural strength, and a kind of joy that the world can't give or take away. Keep going, keep trusting. You are becoming. And soon you will see what all of this was for. The cost of being chosen is real, but so is the reward. And when you arrive at that place, where the fire turns into glory, where the pain becomes purpose, you will understand. This was never just about you. It was always about something greater. You were chosen, not just to survive, but to transform. And you will.